So here we are.
Back again. We're missing someone.
Allegedly, he's missing.
What do you mean allegedly?
I mean, he might be gone. He might be cloaked. You remember that Bird of Prey model?
Right.
It had cloaked mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
it's just the
attack
stand.
mode, cruising mode, and cloaked mode.
It was just the stand on the back of the box.
Yeah, that was a good model. We never. Well, I guess we accomplished cloaked mode.
We built the stand, apparently. I don't even
that's
remember.
A good point. The stand was also cloaked.
Yes.
Fortunately.
Okay, well, this has been an interesting intro to NRC, Episode 4 by Technicality.
Yes.
As last week's recording of our Mandalorian discussion
Had some technical issues. Not sure what happened.
Issues. The audio was lost, and therefore the recording was worthless. It will never be re-recorded. Or will it?
No, we'll redo
Okay,
Mandalorian.
I see.
That was
at a later date.
Yeah.
Yes, not this week.
Yeah.
Because Ryan's not here.
Right.
He's gone.
Yeah.
I'm Noah.
I'm Curtis. And so we're going to talk about this random episode of DS9 that Noah picked, I guess.
I mean, I didn't really pick it. I was just watching it and had a thought. I was confused because in the episode...
So we're watching the episode because he mentions Deck 5. That's the only
USS
reason.
Defiant. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, the original pick was going to be a banger of Season 1, which was, of course, Move Along Home.
Oh.
Many luminaries will say that Season 1's duet is, in fact, the best episode of Season 1. They are incorrect. Move Along Home is the best episode. But because in my rewatch, Benjamin Sisko mentioned Deck 5 of the Defiant, here we are, talking about Season 4's To the Death.
So do you think our viewers know enough to know that you're pulling a joke on them?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure none of them remember Move Along
So
Home.
Noah is recommending you watch that episode to enjoy it to the fullest extent.
Right. No. Move Along Home is a terrible episode.
Oh.
And might be the worst episode DS9 ever made.
Yikes.
It just makes me want to scream, "A la Moraine!" Anyone who's watched the episode recently will know what I'm talking about. Hopefully none of you have, and don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I don't remember.
That's good. I wish I was in your shoes. So, To the Death.
To the Death. Season 4.
Season 4, episode 20-something.
Yeah, 20.
It's near the end. We could probably have looked that up, but we're lazy.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Here we are.
So
what? It starts out, Defiant comes back. Well, it starts out great with this little Worf gag.
The Worf, yes.
That's Worf's chair.
It's Worf's spot.
Right.
They're on the Defiant. It's just another day. It starts out just another day in the office. They're coming back from some mission, and they're in the mess hall of the Defiant. And Bashir is sitting in Worf's spot. Just because he lives on the Defiant doesn't mean he has proprietary rights over the mess hall. No, but he likes that spot. Worf walks in, orders his prune juice, walks over to the table, and there's Bashir sitting in his spot. And a long stare ensues. Have a seat, Commander, and he shifts over.
Yeah, that was great.
Worf sits down and...
With his prune juice.
And immediately, red alert, he doesn't get to enjoy his prune juice. All officers were called to the bridge.
Yep.
And you come upon Deep Space Nine with a missing upper pylon.
That's a distressing scene.
Yeah.
Must have required
damage.
Was it CGI, or do you think they modeled that blown up pylon?
That's a good question, because we're in Season 4, and Season 4 was one of the last seasons that went big, all out with models, because the Klingon attack at the beginning of the season, that's all model work. I remember that from the special features. So
it would have been 1997, probably like spring of 97 that episode came out.
Right. First Contact came out in 98, and that was all CG.
First Contact was 96.
And that
yeah.
was still models.
Yep.
But CG was used for some of those ships, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah, and for the Borg nano probes and all that
Right,
stuff.
right. That was 96? I
Yeah.
thought it was 98.
Nope.
Mixing up my ears.
Yeah, Insurrection was 98.
Ah.
Same year as Bug's Life.
You probably... Well, you
I
saw
know that-
Insurrection.
I know that
As
because
Me and Ryan and our mother went to see Bug's Life.
yes,
You and Father went to see Star Trek
Insurrection.
Insurrection.
Yes, in the old theater that's now
Gone.
Downtown Mission Church.
Oh, you went to see it in the downtown theater?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that's the only movie I remember seeing there.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, reminiscing about the past aside,
Yes.
they talk about there's the joke about Rom. Quark's gonna kill Rom
Yeah.
for worrying him because Rom was working in an upper pylon.
Right.
He was fine.
Yep.
Bashir stays back on the station to help the wounded. Cisco grabs Odo and they're off to chase the Jem'Hadar, and we're into the credits.
Right.
Ah, nice. Season 4 credits. The
Yep.
sped up song. Defiant is there. It's been there
Mhm.
for a season. It's nice, nice. 2 seasons. I suppose we're at the end of season 4.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're on the search. They're on the hunt, looking for these rogue Jem'Hadar in a
They didn't know they were rogue at the time.
right.
Right.
In a transport ship. They use the transport ship to lure DS9 into a false sense of security.
Right. Yes. Starring Jem'Hadar.
And they happen upon a Jem'Hadar warship that's been badly damaged, used as target practice.
I'm always confused. Why do they refer to those circular ships as warships? Because aren't the big, like, I don't know.
The big ships didn't exist yet.
Oh, no?
No,
Oh,
we've
so-
only seen the small ships
Mm.
up until this point, and you still only see them probably until season 6 or late season
Like
5.
with the Red Squadron? Is that the first time?
No, that's super big warship.
Oh, okay.
That
oh,
was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
triple XL warship. No, you see the big warships at least at the end of season 5 when the Dominion take over the station.
Oh, yeah.
They bombard. Coming back
Right.
to the death.
Sorry.
They beam over the 7 survivors of the Jem'Hadar warship. 6 Jem'Hadar and 1 Vorta.
Ah, yes.
The first appearance of Jeffrey Combs as Weyoun, not Jeffrey Combs' first appearance
Right.
on Deep Space Nine.
He's great.
He
He's
is
just so manipulative and, well, maybe not
He's
manipulative,
got a
but he's
shiftiness about
yeah,
it.
he's ah.
A sly smoothness.
Yeah, yeah. And he must have been wearing some like weird contacts because
Yeah.
his eyes are like gigantic, or
Yes.
his pupils.
There's a fairly famous shot in a later season where his contacts, I don't know if they like didn't match up or if he just has a lazy eye. He's looking in 2 directions.
Oh,
And it's just blatantly like the take they used.
well, that one had a imperfection in the DNA sequencing or something.
Right. Well, this is also before the Vorta were known to be clones.
Right.
And in fact, the cloning thing with the Vorta was made up so that they could bring Jeffrey Combs back as Weyoun, because they kill him at the end of this episode.
oh yes.
Spoiler alert
Oh,
for
yeah.
a 1997 episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
yeah.
So they bring them over, and Weyoun explains the situation to Captain Sisko. The Jem'Hadar that attacked them are rogues, and they're trying to activate an Iconian gateway,
Oh my gosh.
which could give them a lot of influence and power, the ability to move troops instantaneously all over the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Now, were Iconians in the original series?
I don't think so.
But
I
they
haven't rewatched TOS recently.
definitely they
Definitely
were
in
introduced.
TNG.
Yeah, in TNG. Maybe
I'm
not
pretty
introduced.
sure they were introduced in
Alright.
TNG and not the original series. The original series has a lot of like
Other
Roman,
things.
Athenian, Greek god things, and it's weird.
And a floating green hand.
And a floating green hand. Best reference of Star Trek Beyond.
Mm.
Big green space hand.
Yeah. Hey, wow.
Simon
This
Pegg.
guy knows
Star Trek
the
Beyond?
J.J. Abrams universe.
I know Star
Kelvin
Trek
timeline.
Beyond
Ah, yes.
because it's half decent. Simon Pegg wrote it,
Right.
and he's a fan of Star Trek.
Right.
You can tell.
Right.
Right.
Maybe we'll get back to.
Talk about that movie.
Well, we could do a Trekking into Darkness all about those three.
Please, no. Can we
Uh-oh.
just... Uh-oh.
Elcars. Look at this. This is funny.
It's also making noises.
Yeah, it is making
I wonder if those
noises.
are getting picked up.
Yeah, a little bit. I can see it on
Oh,
the meter.
boy.
That's okay.
That's okay? You're not going to go stop that?
Nope.
This is
This
the
is-
warning.
It's fun, extra noise in the
Yep,
background.
we're red alert, apparently.
Yeah.
The threat of the Iconians.
Right.
Got us at red alert.
Yeah.
They've got to keep the Jem'Hadar that they saved in the dark because they don't know about the Iconian Gateway, and it might incite them to rebel.
Right.
And Weyoun convinces Cisco to help them hunt down the Jem'Hadar because of the potential loss to the Federation. Who knows what these rogue Jem'Hadar would do?
Right.
They could invade the entire galaxy.
Right.
Got a gateway.
Yeah, the Iconian Gateway. It's all the rage.
All the rage. Makes you wonder what would happen if the Borg had a similar type of technology.
It's interesting.
It's an interesting thought. I guess that won't be explored.
Uh,
I'm trying to push past that, Curtis.
right.
Right.
Well, Picard will be back for season 2 at least. Maybe we'll. Uh-oh.
Your Elcar is getting assimilated.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, well.
Activate the emergency medical holographic program.
That would be funny if I had one of those.
He'll create a diversion, do a dance, tell a story. Just give us a few seconds.
Yes.
Yes. In the Voyager sickbay.
Yes.
It's almost like they couldn't afford new sets. Yikes.
Borg implants can cause severe skin irritation. Would you
That's
like an analgesic cream?
Yes. All right. So back to the death.
All right.
They do a joint briefing session after Cisco informs his crew about what's going on. They've got to keep the Jem'Hadar in the dark.
All right.
Dex says she won't tell anyone, which is important because later she tells everyone something else,
Right.
which makes you think maybe she was the one that informed the Jem'Hadar about the encoding gateways.
Oh, interesting. Hadn't thought of it that way. Maybe.
I doubt
On
it.
accident.
Yeah, maybe. So joint briefing session, they're like, all right, we're going to land here, and we're going to bring the bomb in, and we're going to blow it up. Blow up the facility, kill all the rogue Jem'Hadar.
Mhm.
And tensions are high between
Right.
Worf and a particular Jem'Hadar. The will to fight is not as good as the Jem'Hadar will.
Right. Right.
He is a coward. He looks like a warrior, though.
That got Worf's gears grinding.
Yeah.
on
Worf's
it.
not a coward.
No.
No.
Although Picard once accused him of being a coward.
In First Contact.
Yes.
We just keep bringing this back to First Contact. We should really just talk about that movie.
That's a good movie.
Imagine if we just skidded off and just started reviewing First Contact instead.
Yeah.
The double cross? No. What would that be? The old switcheroo?
Something like that.
Yeah. All right.
A 180.
180.
Not really.
Go to commercial break. Come back. There's Jem'Hadar patrolling the Defiant
Oh, right.
corridors.
Yeah, it's a good fake out. Because
Fake
even when I haven't seen the episode in a while, it's like,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Yeah.
This isn't a little ship where the Jem'Hadar have taken over.
Oh no. And a runabout
Yeah.
fires torpedoes at them.
That's a great move.
That's a great part of that episode specifically where that's another DS9 episode. Maybe we'll talk about that one day.
Yeah.
Little ship,
All right. So the Jem'Hadar have taken over, and
seemingly.
then you see our Federation team move in.
They bring the bomb to the warp core, and at this point you were like, no, this is a drill or something. You figured out it was a fake out.
Yep.
They were like, where's the third Jem'Hadar guard? The lights come on. Oh, we're dead.
Yep.
The defenses would have come back online. They were running a drill to see what it would have been like. Prepare themselves for the mission at hand. And first Dumat Klan, great Jem'Hadar, played by Clarence Williams III. He's apparently fairly well known. I don't know him.
Got me.
I think he does really good job at portraying First Umataclan.
Yeah, yeah.
Got sort of a subdued charisma about him.
Mm-hmm. Those eyes.
Those eyes. He's some of the great bits of the old practical makeup, you know. It's that, yes, they were covered in all this stuff, but you still had great expressions from the faces. And I think that was part of the excuse as to why all the aliens looked exactly the same. Everyone's a biped, so that you could tell what they're trying to get across.
Yep.
Fun times. He's like, your men value their own lives too much. We'll never achieve victory like this.
All right.
And Cisco pulls them into a turbo lift where he mentions going to Deck 5, Section 1.
Right. The entire reason we're doing this episode.
It's because I sent you a text about that one line. And I was very confused because there's an LCARS display of the Defiant that's featured fairly prominently in the show. Not just this episode. It's not well shown in this episode specifically, but in other episodes. And it shows 4 decks on the Defiant. And, of course, the great controversy of how many decks does the Defiant have has ensued.
It's kind of like the Enterprise E. How many decks does the Enterprise E have?
26 decks.
24 in First Contact.
Right. But then in that movie, Worf says they've taken decks 26 through 13 or something.
All
Like,
right.
he directly contradicts it in the same movie.
Yep. Something like that.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Very annoying. Script writers.
So yes, that is the reason we watched this episode. It's just me scratching my head and going, the Defiant doesn't have 5 decks, does it? And it's also weird that the Defiant has a turbo lift at all. It's a very compact ship.
Yeah, I mean, 4 or 5 decks. You want to still be able
4
to get
or
up
5.
and down.
Yes. We're on the 5th deck today, but not on Tuesdays. It doesn't exist.
Maybe it's a... I don't know. I don't know what the explanation for it is. Other than that, the writers did not get a note from a continuity
Right.
expert.
There's also the bit where the Defiant's size changes depending on where it is, because when it's attached to the station, it's bigger than it should be by technicality,
Yeah.
so it fits correctly into the docking port. And yeah, that happens constantly where the model size changes depending on where the ship is and what it's fighting.
Yeah, that's...
It's just unfortunate.
Yep.
Yeah. If only they'd had a model. Real model. No, I'm not that petty, but I do like ship models. They look better when they explode, you know?
Right, yeah.
There's a grittiness to it.
Yeah, right.
Because they reused that same Klingon bird of prey ship exploding 800 times, and
Yep.
you can tell that
Yep.
they blew it up once for real, and then they just reused it every time they needed a bird of prey to explode.
Look great on film. Why not reuse it?
Why not reuse it? Right. Like many. I mean, it is a science fiction show from the 90s
Right.
and the 80s
Right.
and the 60s,
Right.
back when they didn't have a budget.
Right.
Oh, right, that's the Constellation. It's definitely not the Enterprise. They didn't even bother to redo the registry. They just hoped you wouldn't notice on your little grainy television. But now that
Right.
it's in HD, you could tell.
Yep. You should read, there is a series of articles by, I think, American Cinematographer or something. I don't know. It's some magazine. But they posted all the digital versions of these articles they wrote about different Star Wars or Star Trek series. And, you know, they interviewed the guys who were running the cameras and all that stuff. And they pulled their article from the original series. And it's very interesting. The guys they're talking in all these weird, like, movie terms, and they're
Right.
like, "Oh, I used four something for this," and I have no idea what they're exactly talking about.
Don't you work in television?
Yeah, but not movies. Where
I know. I'm giving you guff.
But very interesting.
Very interesting. I'll have to look into it. Back to the Death.
Right.
I don't remember where we were. Oh, right. They were in a turbo lift. Umataclan's like, we know about the gateway. mix the teams, intermix the teams, because they know, so cat's out of the bag.
Yep.
And bring unit cohesion up to as high as possible.
Right.
And Monoclon is displeased that Wayun questioned his loyalty
Right.
to the founders. Yes. Takes it very seriously. As a Jem'Hadar would.
Yes, they are very serious.
Very serious. As we find out, I think the next scene is the one Jem'Hadar is observing Dax
Right.
on the bridge. He's just standing on the bridge watching her. Shouldn't you be doing something else? I must learn about you so I can anticipate your actions in the battlefield. Couldn't you go sleep? We don't need sleep.
Right.
How about food? We do not need food. We have the white.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to be a Jem'Hadar woman. We do not have any women. What do? Lay eggs? We are bred.
Yeah. In
Cloning
chambers.
facilities. Yes.
Ugh.
Transition to a scene of her explaining that to O'Brien, Worf, and Bashir. No women? Oh, no wonder they're so angry all the time.
Yep.
Oh, and they talked about the Jem'Hadar's age. I am 8.
Oh, yeah.
Because, as we saw in a previous episode, they found that Jem'Hadar kid in the wreckage.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that episode.
I do. And was the kid on DS9?
Yes.
Then? Yeah.
Because Quark was sold this wreckage from one of his shady
right.
business partners.
Of course.
Didn't have enough time to
Quark.
inspect it and found the Jem'Hadar baby, and they didn't know it was a Jem'Hadar. The hijinks ensue.
Yep.
But the Jem'Hadar grew up basically within the span of days. And as the Jem'Hadar in this episode reiterates, they're able to fight within 3 days of being birthed.
Yeah.
So they age rapidly, which means they only live to be about 20 or so.
Yeah.
If you're 20, you're an honored elder,
Right.
which is interesting aspect of the Jem'Hadar as a culture.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Live fast, die young.
Right.
Literally.
Fast, yeah.
Reminds me of that episode of Voyager, Live Fast and Prosper.
I don't remember that episode.
I could do this all day, Curtis.
Great. Is that, it must be Tuvok and Neelix related?
Yes, but it's not actually Tuvok, because a group of aliens were impersonating Voyager
Oh.
to then rip them off. You're going to join the Federation, and then they take their supplies.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Funny episode. All right, so they're talking about the Jem'Hadar are passionless people. Worf's
Right.
like, they don't sing songs. What's the point?
Right.
What's the point if you don't boast about your achievements of being a great warrior culture?
Mm-hmm.
The Jem'Hadar come into the mess hall, got the box.
Right. Catch
It's
yourself
time
light.
for the white.
Right.
Wayun is displeased and just,
Do
open.
you pledge your loyalty to the founders? Whatever.
First, Umataclan, can you pledge or vouch for the loyalty of your men? We
Right.
pledge our loyalty to the founders from now until death, and receive this gift from the founders. May it keep you strong. Reused many a time throughout the rest of the series.
Yep.
Gives the vials, and then Umataclan's like, resume your training. And the Jem'Hadar that was given Worf guff earlier comes over and is like, O'Brien, it is time. We must resume. And O'Brien's like, I'm not ready yet. I'm still eating. You are weak and you're cowardly. You can practice hiding. And then this provokes Worf to punch him, and they get into a brawl in the mess hall.
Right.
Cisco comes in, breaks it up, and is like, who started this? Worf. I did. And the other Jem'Hadar. And I. And Umataclan has to punish his insubordinate second, yes.
Yeah.
Just kills him right then and there.
Whoops.
Worf, you're confined to quarters for the remainder of this mission when you're not on duty. You call that discipline?
Right.
Dead man can't learn from his mistakes.
Right.
I valued him. He was my second for 3 years. Funny way of showing it,
Yeah.
as Commander Sisko pointed out. And then Umataclan threatens to kill the captain. once the mission's over, of course.
Oh, right. That's right.
Yeah, that happened right then, Curtis.
Yep.
Come on, we just watched the episode.
I know.
Next scene, Worf comes into the engine room. Cisco
Alright.
was talking to some engineer about some warp couplings or something that they apparently it was doing really well. This whatever they did to the engine. It's just an excuse for him to turn around so the camera can see Worf walk in.
Right.
Worf, your shift ended 10 minutes ago. You should be in your quarters. It's like, I was on my way. Seems you got lost, Mr. Worf. He says, he recommends that Cisco stays on the ship because of Omataclan's threat.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, how did you know about the threat? You told Commander Dax. That would explain it. Like I said, brings it around from Dax saying, I'm not going to tell anyone.
Right.
Brings it into question.
Dax.
Not really, but just a funny thing that I noticed.
Yeah.
And then Worf says, if Omataclan succeeds, he will not live to boast of it. That's very reassuring, Mr. Worf. It's great.
I do enjoy how they use Worf at times. It's intentionally,
relief.
yeah, it's funny, but it's like,
It's
you know,
funny
he's
for
so
us,
serious.
the viewer, but
Yeah.
for him, it's a very serious thing, and that's
Yeah.
what makes it funny for the viewer.
Right.
Nice piece of comedy.
Yep.
And we had a brief discussion during the scene about how much you enjoyed the Defiance engine room.
Ah, yes, it is a great engine room. It's, I don't know. I think the recessed panels on one of the wall
yes,
with some angles and stuff,
it
or
makes
what?
it nice,
Yeah, and then the warp core is
compact and interesting looking. It's different
Yeah,
enough, but it's
yeah.
also similar.
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
just it looks unique. And you asked the question: is that the same engine room
right,
that they used for TNG? And I was like, no, Voyager got that
right.
redressed like the rest of the TNG sets that Voyager got,
Yeah,
which was most of the interior ship's sets.
yeah. It's weird how long that engine
Those
room got reused
Yeah.
over and over and
Over and over.
since the motion picture.
Motion picture, TNG, all those movies, Voyager. It lived on for many years.
Mm-hmm.
So did those corridors.
Mm-hmm.
So did 10 Forward.
Mm-hmm.
So did those quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh well.
That's what you're gonna do.
What
when
you're gonna
you're
do?
a budget TV show.
Yeah. Especially when you waste most of your big budget money on the first episode in every series.
Yep.
Yikes. That's why Move Along Home exists
Yeah.
the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. Bringing it back to.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, they proceed. Well, they're handing out phasers.
All right.
Right.
And
Bit of a moment where O'Brien hesitates to give Jem'Hadar the phasers.
do you want this phaser? Do you?
Cisco has to give him the nod of approval. The Motoclon's immediately like, disable the safety's maximum power. Because, of course, the Jem'Hadar would.
Now blow him to smithereens.
And Omataclan gives an inspirational speech to his men.
We are dead.
As of this moment, we are all dead. We go into battle to reclaim our lives. This we do gladly, for we are Jem'Hadar. Victory is life.
Right.
And then,
Obedience brings victory.
and victory is life. Wayun gives the nice comment. What a pleasant people.
I'm Miles Edward O'Brien.
I'm very much alive, and I intend to stay that way. Amen. Proceed to transport down to the planet
Mm-hmm.
from the Defiant's tiny little transporter,
Right.
which I thought was really funny when they transported 7 people at once on that one tiny little transport pad.
Right. Oh, that
Right
is
at the
weird.
beginning of the episode.
Hmm.
And it's interesting because the framing is all like ankle up or knee up, so you can't see that they're probably not all on the pad.
They beam down?
Right, they beam down, and they're like, "You tricked us. Our weapons are disabled." It's like all the phasers are disabled. The Iconian Gateway, producing a dampening field.
I
Apparently,
guess.
that's new.
Right. I guess it's unclear whether or not the Jem'Hadar had activated the dampening field, or if that's just
A side effect of the gateway.
right.
Right. Well, yeah. Maybe they'd set up their own dampening field because they just blow up the building that the gateway's in, and then the dampening field's disabled. It might not be related to the Iconian gateway. That's
Right.
completely out of the scope of the episode.
Yeah.
So I'm
cares?
spitballing random
Yeah.
things. So 2 random gold shirts die.
Oh,
They're
yes.
like, going to continue the mission.
Right. Yes.
They charge in.
They've all got weird Jem'Hadar.
Jem'Hadar blades.
Yeah.
Weird. Worf's got one of his bladed knives. I forget what they're
A
called.
Metleth or something.
It might be his Mechleth. You might be
Yeah.
right.
I don't know.
Might be his Daktan.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember. No, his Mechleth is the one he had in First Contact, which you also see sometimes in DS9. But I don't think it's the one he's using in this episode. Anyways, regardless, Worf brings his strike team in the building. They're about to get overwhelmed, and it's like, it's been long enough. Throws the bag off his shoulder, and it's Odo, and he knocks 3 Jem'Hadar out.
Yeah.
It's like,
they
what's
should have just
the
had
point?
Odo there the whole time.
Right.
Odo could have impersonated
A Jem'Hadar.
or a founder.
Oh, right. Yeah. That
And
would have been
could've
easier
just been
for him
like-
because he can't do the humanoid shapes too well.
Right.
So he wouldn't be able to do a Jem'Hadar. How foolish of me
Right.
to not remember that.
Right. Yes, that would have been very complicated for poor Odo.
Even though all the founders look exactly like Odo. Interesting.
It is interesting.
It's also interesting that over the course of 7 years, Odo never gets better at doing humanoids.
Right. Well, his face gets a little better, I think, by the end of season.
I think
7.
that's just the prosthetics changing.
Getting
slightly.
better.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, that one. This is getting off topic, but there's that one episode where.
Oh, right. I know what you're talking about immediately.
Yeah, where they were stuck on the planet with the weird phase variants or whatever, and Odo's old and.
They got thrown back in time, and
Yeah.
so old Odo professes his love to Kira Nerys.
Right.
Yeah. Because she died really early on, in the crash or something.
Right.
Never got the chance. He was all
Right.
sad for 800 years or whatever.
Right.
It's amazing that I immediately knew which episode. You didn't even finish your thought. I was
Nope.
like, I know which one he's talking about.
Yep.
I haven't gotten there yet. In my rewatch.
So what? It must be season 5 or 6.
Season 5, I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
Because they're in the Gamma Quadrant for that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure the war's not going on. Because they basically don't go back to the Gamma Quadrant after season 6. Because they mine the entrance, and then the prophets are like, okay, we won't let any Jem'Hadar through.
Right.
Once they take back the station. And then the Jem'Hadar and the Cardassians are just right next door. And they basically don't go back until the series finale when Odo goes back to the Link.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll find out. I'm almost to season 6, so.
Have you gotten to the episode where the Obsidian Order goes and
Yes.
tries to blow up? Okay.
That was
And it
season 3 or 4.
was because they team up with the Tal Shiar or
Right.
something crazy?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But it was all a founder plot to disable or
Yeah, destroy
hinder.
the-
Yeah, basically destroy. I'm trying to think of the word that I was thinking of, but then lost. Whatever.
Good thing the Jacques Vache weren't there.
Oh. All right. Bring it back.
Yeah.
We've gone way off topic now.
Yes.
So Odo hits some Jem'Hadar. Oh, and I pointed out to you, there's a funny bit in there where a gold shirt basically just like kicks a Jem'Hadar in the shin and then he falls over. But it's like to the side, to the background. You're supposed to be paying attention to Worf and Jadzia and what's going on. And this Jem'Hadar just falls over so he can move to his next mark and fight the next guy.
Good choreography.
Yeah. I thought it was really funny. And you pointed out that they brought out like every extra red shirt or gold shirt from the wardrobe because they had like 20
Yeah, there were
guys in
quite a
gold
few
shirts.
of them. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then Cisco, O'Brien, and Omataclon, they push up and they bring their bomb in. They're right next to the gateway.
Yep.
You see every matte painting that Star Trek has ever had.
Yep.
See Bajor, you see the Eiffel Tower you saw,
Yep.
I think.
It looked like it, man.
You probably see some of the Voyager matte paintings for
Yeah.
season 1.
I think Cardassia probably
Was in
up.
there, yeah. And Jem'Hadar, he comes out of his shroud, as the Jem'Hadar called him.
Shroud, right.
I am no longer able to shroud myself, as we find out in a different Jem'Hadar episode, Rocks and Shoals, season
Right.
6. He's about to stab Omataclon, and Cisco saves him. And Omataclon's like, I threatened to kill you, and you saved me. Looks that way. Why? If you have to ask, you'll never understand. Some respect between the two of them. O'Brien arms the bomb, and they get out of there.
They blow it to smithereens.
Off camera. You
Right.
see see some yellow light. The CGI budget was a little out.
Yeah.
They wasted it all on that matte painting shot.
Yeah.
Compositing that into the frame was way too much. So you
Yeah.
just the camera shakes and they wiggle and there's some yellow light.
Yep.
And Wei-Yun beams down. He's like, "Wow, great job. This has been a momentous day." And then Omataclon shoots him, kills Wei-Yun right there, in the middle of a sentence. That was for questioning our loyalty.
Yeah, that was something, that's for sure.
It's a great moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Directly referenced in Rocks and Shoals. That
Yes.
moment, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it around.
Mm-hmm.
Circles within circles, Curtis. That is my secret.
Mm.
It'll never end. I had a thought and I lost it.
Mm.
I don't remember.
That pretty much wraps up the episode, right?
Yeah.
They say bye. The Jem'Hadar are gonna go round up the other evil betrayer
Right.
Jem'Hadar.
Any surviving renegades.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 Jem'Hadar that are left
Yeah.
or whatever.
Gonna kill all the other 100 of them.
Yeah. Killed about 20 of the rogues.
Yep.
There's 150.
Yep. That'll go well.
It should go well. Oh, right. That's what I was thinking about. The Vorta cloning Vorta, came about because they wanted to bring Jeffrey Combs back as Wei-Yun after they killed him. So they're like, well, how do we do that? The Vorta are clones, of course.
Duh.
I'm Wei-Yun 8. That was Wei-Yun 6. I'm Wei-Yun 7. And then you have an episode where 2 Wei-Yuns are talking to each other.
Oh, were there? Oh, you're right, on the intercom. Well,
Yes.
not Skype for Star Trek.
Faith, Treachery, and the Great River.
Good
Good
Good episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that river.
Can be very treacherous. Maybe we'll get there. Uh,
Oh man.
so yeah, it's a good episode.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And,
Wish they'd remaster it in high definition.
the whole series. Imagine.
Yeah.
This is the first and I believe last joint operation between the Federation and the Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
It was a momentous occasion because this was during like the Cold War phase of the Dominion conflict.
Right.
'Cause
Right.
the war doesn't start until season 6 or the end of season 5, technically.
Right. Is that where the Jem'Hadar ships just start flying into Federation ships, or was that?
No, that's the first. Like, that is the episode, the Jem'Hadar. The last episode of season 2, where
Oh, yeah.
they ram into the
Yeah.
Odyssey, which was the Galaxy class
Right,
starship.
the Galaxy class. Yeah.
But they made a point to mention that he offloaded all non-essential personnel before going off on the mission. So only Starfleet officers died
right.
instead of 1,000 random people.
Not the women and the children too.
No, not the women and the children too. Hi, Anakin.
Sandy.
Sandy. Hugh, you are not Sandy, and that is why I love you. No, this isn't Stick Wars. So yeah, it's just I think it's a great episode of DS9, worth watching.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And if you watch this one, you should then go and watch Rocks and Shoals. because that is also a great Jim Hadar episode.
Should probably start with the first episode of DS9 before jumping into season 4,
What do you
episode 21.
mean? Watch season 4, episode 22 or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you could start there. It wouldn't be the worst starting point.
You could start at season 4, episode 1, for sure.
Yeah.
'Cause that's when Worf shows up.
Yeah, seasons 1 and 2 are kind of
Season 2 is
meandering.
way better than you think it is. If you go back for a rewatch, because
Yeah.
they set up a bunch of stuff. And even
Uh.
season 1 sets up a bunch of stuff, but I think season 2 really is like, oh, there's a lot of really good stuff in season 2.
Which season had Q?
Season 1,
Okay, yeah, because
he shows up in the episode Q-less.
right, yes, because Cisco did not have a beard. Cisco doesn't have a beard till like season 4 or 3, 4.
The end of 3, I think.
Hmm.
And he becomes captain, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
He becomes a captain at the end of season 3. I remember that. Don't remember when the beard shows up.
Mm.
I just rewatched it. You'd think I would, but
You would think.
turning into a DS9 discussion in general, which is I'm all for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long.
Right,
you
our
wanna go.
viewers. We'll have to. We should ask our viewers. What do you think in the comments?
Are you looking at the comments right now, Curtis? In the future,
Oh my gosh! I can't believe he wrote that.
who's he? And
Liam.
what did he wrote?
Liam. Teddy.
Ted Abru. Oh no. So yeah, this has been a fun rewatch of, I think, a pretty exceptional episode of DS9.
Yeah, for sure.
Minus some slight continuity oddities.
Deck 5.
Deck 5. But Worf also directly mentions the Iconian Gateway that he helped destroy in
Mhm.
TNG. So
Mhm.
there's good continuity in here too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just want to say that.
Yeah.
DS9 is the king of continuity.
Really?
Compared to the rest of Star Trek? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
You remember that one random instance of TNG? Yeah, we do too. Thanks for remembering that. That's basically what the writers are doing sometimes. We're just like, oh, right, that thing. I remember that.
Yeah.
It's just, they pull random stuff out. And it's fun.
Fun. Yeah, fun.
Like a little ship that took
A little
a little
trip.
trip.
Mhm.
Fun.
Well, it rhymes.
There's nothing on this pad. Is that season 6?
I think so, yeah.
So they were married.
I think so.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know.
They must have been. This is the stuff that goes through my head, Curtis. Where it's just like I'm trying to line up where things happened and figure out
Right.
relationships to other people.
Hmm.
Did you know that Our Man Bashir was a season 4 episode?
I kind of remember that. That's a great episode.
It's a great episode. I just thought it was like later. I thought it was season 6.
Hmm.
That's my memory.
No, I definitely watched that one
Many times.
within the last year or two.
It's a great episode.
Starts out with that slow motion shot, yeah, breaking through the glass.
Yeah. Fun
Yeah.
times. All right, we've wandered
Yeah.
off slightly. This has been our discussion about To the Death, season 4, episode 20 something.
Yep.
Thank you for watching, I suppose.
Yes. Hopefully we'll be back at some point with Ryan. Don't know when.
If not, we'll just pick another
Yeah.
random DS9 episode that
Yeah.
I happen to have watched recently and had a strange comment to talk to Curtis about.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So, bye.
Bye.
Like, subscribe, comment, and subscribe.
And like the comments.
Like the comments? Are we still liking
Subscribe.
comments?
Subscribe to the commenters.
You should subscribe to the commenters. They're probably producing better content than we are here at Morachip Studios.